President Cyril Ramaphosa will be at Manzil Park Stadium in Klerksdorp in the northwest to give his Freedom Day address. The community in the area has voiced concerns about the lack of service delivery. The predominantly coloured community feels marginalised by government in terms of opportunities and general developments. The community hopes that the president will address their plight and look to address some of their concerns. Let's now cross over live to our SABC News reporter, Ntlantla Kgatlane. Ntlantla, good morning and welcome to the show. So one of the concerns raised by these community members is that during apartheid, they were considered to be too black. And now, during this democratic dispensation, they are considered not black enough.
A very good day to you, Aldrin, and our viewers at home. Well, indeed, those kind of sentiments, if you take note of what South Africans have been talking about, they've been saying that they're feeling neglected by government. With others, always saying that they feel nostalgic. From both and wide. You'll hear some people on the ground saying that probably during apartheid it was better, and that would be caused by some failures of government, but with other white people just being stubborn with regards to how they wanted the status quo to remain. Like you said earlier, we're coming to you right here from Manzil Park in Klerksdorp, Matlosana City here, and where we are is on the other side. I know when we came here yesterday, Eldon, we took some liberty to just drive around and just to try and interact with people, and some of them raising their concerns that they are kind of surprised that the event was not taken to their side, where the president and the national leadership could be exposed to the reality that they face. This is a town, Eldrin, if you remember, on social media we would see a lot of crime happening. I remember there was an incident where, some of the gangsters here went to a police station and literally disarmed a police officer at the police station. And when you ask people around, then you can get a sense of that, this is just the norm. And it poses a question that, what is this democracy that, people would be talking about, those who really appreciate, the 29 years, but others saying that, we don't really feel like, there's a need to celebrate democracy. But with me here, I'm with Mr. Zizi Kodwa, the Minister of Sports, who's going to talk to us about, the significance of, continuing to celebrate this day. Thank you so much, Mr. Kodwa, for your time. Talk to us about today, 29 years on. Some South Africans feel neglected. But it's almost 30 years, saying that, the dream of democracy, they don't feel it on the ground.
29 years ago on this day, there was no government of the people. 29 years on this day, a new country and a new nation was born. And it is a nation that had inspired South Africans across color, race or creed. A nation which is defined in the preamble of the Constitution of the Republic. We as a people of South Africa united in our inspirations. That is a new nation we're celebrating, from the bondage and the yoke of apartheid. The challenges we face today, people are protesting, people demonstrate, is because they've got a government, the democratically elected government. They can talk about services. They can demand and protest about service delivery. In the past, there was no government to protest about service delivery. And therefore, we must make this distinction, that the celebration today was celebrating the birth of a new nation, which was born on this day 29 years on. But there are challenges today. We must not hide difficulties to the masses. We must not claim easy victories to the masses, because we are their government, democratically elected. The challenges we are talking about are service delivery. It's challenges that we know. It's challenges of housing, challenges of lack of water, challenges of load shedding. These are the issues that we must deal with. Challenges of unemployment, challenges of crime, lawlessness in areas not only here about Alabama and many other areas in the country. But today, it's important to celebrate the birth of the new country. That birth of the new country, we must recommit ourselves to the principles and values of that new country, which was founded in 1994 on this day. What are those principles? Selflessness, commitment, dedication, trust, hard work, and honesty. These are the principles upon which our first president founded this democracy. And therefore, it's important when you look back and say how far we've come. Of course, in the process, Ntlantla, there were missteps. There's no doubt that as we progressed 20 years on, there were mistakes that were committed. And the point is how much we have learned and corrected those mistakes. But there's no doubt that a new nation has been born. That new nation has been faced with a number of challenges, and we must celebrate and deal with those challenges.
What do you say to people who say that, especially the elderly, they said, one thing about apartheid government then is that it took care, it had taken care of their own, and with those ones who are stubborn to change?
There is no old person who lived under apartheid can glorify apartheid in 2023. There is no one who can tell me that. And I think they know how brutal apartheid was. The challenges we face today, indeed, they cannot lead us to say, let's go back to the land of Pharaoh. Ilizwe said Chiputa. It was better than what we have today. Let's deal with challenges, all of us. Hence the point we make in terms of the theme of this year, safeguarding and consolidating the gains of our democracy. Let's guard those fundamental principles. At the same time, we must make sure that we deal with challenges. There are challenges we must accept. Collectively, let's work with our people to make sure that we deal with those challenges.
As a minister of sport, we know that sport plays a huge role in society. And there's the challenges of, drug abuse, unemployment, and others would say there's nothing that we're doing. What is it that, as a department, you're going to do to ensure that, you take the kids or young people out of the streets and use sport as an instrument for change?
This new nation we're talking about, sport has been a heartbeat of this new nation. There has been special moments in this country where it has built social cohesion and nation building. We're talking about 1995, when President Mandela walked into Ellis Park wearing that jersey number 6. It unified even those who never believed, who had doubts about. Remember, we're just a year post the democratic breakthrough, and therefore it united the country. 2010. The games of Blue Bulls in Soweto, for example, it solidified the kind of a nation we seek to build, even those who have never been to Soweto. So sport has always been a heartbeat of building social cohesion and nation building. How far we have come, we're preparing to go to Cape Town for Netball World Cup. For the first time in the African continent in history, we're hosting such tournament. We're hosting international tournaments, not only for revenue, but also exporting South Africa's culture of Ubuntu and humanity. And therefore, sport continues to play an important role of social cohesion and nation building.
What are you to say to those people who feel disgruntled that, really, we hear what government is saying, beautiful, but at the end of the day, we still feel like we are being failed?
It's important that when we build a nation, no community must feel excluded from that nation, however big or small that community. And it's a challenge we accept as a current government, that indeed there may be areas where we have regressed in terms of building non-racialism. Non-racialism must be actually not only service delivery. As you know, the majority of people who are denied and disenfranchised in terms of service delivery are black in general. And therefore, it must not exclude other national groups. And I think it's a point that as we go along, we must understand these different spheres of government, that all national groups must feel being part of this government. And therefore, people who feel disgruntled, they've got a right. It's their right enshrined in the government. Their right we must protect, of protesting, of feeling disgruntled, but we must address what makes them to feel disgruntled.
Talking about being disgruntled, also it must be a concern that, you are visiting here, you are from National, and you hear people saying that, why didn't the president allow to come on the side? Because he would have seen the reality and what we complain about.
President know the reality almost in each and every inch corner of this land, including the areas of Alabama, the areas of Klerksdorp, the areas of Matlasana. President has been in these areas before, you remember. We're not just here for any other thing, but the decisions, these are local decisions that are taken by the province, which place is best for what. It does not mean we're running away from any other area, because we were about those conditions. And therefore, celebrating here, it does not exclude other people who are coming from other areas. It's a celebration of everybody in South Africa. This is an important day for all South Africans.
Let me just squeeze in this one, Mr. Kodwa. Under your cap as the NEC member, we saw the ICC issue, making news, with the president saying that, the AG saying that, and later the president issuing a statement. It must be sort of worrisome that, there's it looks like there's some disconnection with regards to communication there.
The National Executive Committee of the ANC has got a chief spokesperson called Fikile Mbalula, who's a Secretary General. We as members of the African National Congress, even though we sit in the NEC, we have no authority and luxury to be commenting about any issue. Through him, you can get an answer to that question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kodwa. That was Minister of Sports, Zizi Kodwa, saying that, it would be quite concerning that you'd find white people saying that, it was better under apartheid, talking to us more about, service delivery and the choosing of the location, saying that, no, it's not their responsibility, but assuring South Africans there that the president does know all about the challenges that South Africans are facing. With that being said, Eldrin, it's back to you in studio.
Well, thank you so much, Ntlantla Kgatlane, there at the main commemoration that will be taking place in Klerksdorp today. Of course, during the show, we'll be going to various areas across the country where some celebrations will be taking place as well to commemorate Freedom Day.